had the privilege of being an art creator for Santa Pageant by LauraAnnProductions. I knew this was a queer non-binary story when I signed up to ArtRead. Within the first 2 pages, it was overly detailed. I'm not entirely sure how I feel about that. For a sentence or few, it gives the impression that Effie may be a worker in the building industry, but she's a car park attendant, then talks about a pageant before saying she's alone. I didn't realize pageants were a duo thing. When the story introduces Tove, I feel like something was missing. I couldn't quite put my finger on it. I'm not sure if it had too much of its detailed storyline, or the way the author tried to weave in the backstory with the present. Maybe it was the emotions being conveyed, maybe the emotions weren't quite pushed out as much, or maybe the characters seemed same with how they interacted with each other. Within the first 4%, I came to the conclusion that Effie was an unlikable character. But within the first 4%, we are introduced to Effie's sister and the sister's family. It almost made it seem like Effie was anti-hetero and felt like the need to look down on hetero PDA as well as hetero couples having kids. I also didn't like the way Effie thought about her sister's husband, calling him babyface, cringy, and why did our sister choose him? Even though within the first 4% of the story, the family hadn't done anything to deserve a massive criticism. I got confused for a moment. There's a character called Alistair. The author uses this name for a paragraph or few before switching to Dar. I didn't realize that Dar and Alistair were the same person, and thought a character had been written into the scene without a proper explanation. By the time I hit the 9% mark, I was failing to see a queer romance story that I was led to believe. Instead, it felt like a negative, everyone but me is useless, and every cis and hetero person is a piece of trash type of world fit in within a Christmas theme. By page 130, the story felt a bit more relaxed. For that scene, it felt like real and authentic, and I hoped it continued that until I finished the story. When I got to the 70% mark, I felt like the story was running in circles. With 30% to go, I felt like the story had built up such an explosive point that there was no way for this story to end neatly. By the end of the story, it felt off, and I'm not quite sure why. It almost felt like it was trying to force itself to wrap up, while also not forcing itself to wrap up, if that makes sense. I wish Lily and Barry the best of luck with their writing career, but they're not an author for me.